Power. Oh.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. We are now starting the Prebid Conference for Batch 11 FY 2026 Infrastructure Projects, covering contract ID numbers 26RJ0046 VIB, 26RJ0047 VIB, and 26RJ0048 VIB. So before we proceed, let's have prayer to be led by Engineer Tolera.
Let's bow down our heads and feel the presence of the Lord as we say in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we come before you today in humility and faith. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and grace and to be faithful in our service to you. Give us the patience and understanding to face life challenges with grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Please be seated. So, good morning once again. So, this conference is being conducted today, May 28, 2026, at 10 a.m. at the back office in the PWS Siquijor District Engineering Office. So, in behalf of the back chairman, Engineer Christian George B. Paling, who is currently on leave, I am Bernard Zidogan, back vice chairperson, and I will be presiding this Prebid conference. So, at this point, may I request Engineer Tony Alice to conduct the roll call of attendees.
Good morning, Mr. Vice Chair. So the following are the attendees for today's pre-bid conference. Back regular members, Ivan Jan DEO, Francis Daily Gutong, and Alan P. Malikay. Back provisional members, John Carl Tambahuyot and Rex Impal. Back PWG Head, Ernie P. Gumo. Back PWG members, Jen M. Sugabo, J. Vincent Paling, Dennis Tumala, RCB Katipay, Miguel Ket Bicoy, Dixon Franz Paglinawan, Jeff Dahilungsod, Angelo Dolera, Domino Dominic Nyala, and Ernesto Remulla Jr. Back Secretariat Head, Elsa Humadla. Back Secretariat Members, Maria Estrella Gracia Remulio, Donna May Rose Duran, Maria Eva Queen Bation, Gladys Marie Malike, and yours truly, Connie Ojales. So, majority are present, sir. Therefore, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Engineer Ojales. So, based on the attendance, quorum is present. So, the PAC is now properly constituted to officially conduct the Prebid conference. So, the purpose of this Prebid conference is to discuss and clarify the technical, legal, and financial requirements of the bidding process in accordance with RA number 12009 and its implementing rules and regulation. So for our agenda for today, so we have number one, the brief presentation or explanation by the BAC. So we have A, basic contract data, including contract description, ABC, and duration. This will be presented by Engineer Maria Estrella Gracia Remulio. B, for the requirements of bidding documents, this will be presented by Engineer Dennis A. Tumala. And C, the documents to be submitted by the bidders. This will be presented by Engineer Dexon Franz L. Paglinawan. And D, for the criteria and procedure. So for eligibility check, this will be discussed by Engineer Gladys Marie M. Malikay. For the preliminary examination of bids, this will be discussed by Engineer Allen P. Malikay. And for the detailed evaluation of bids, this will be discussed by Engineer Ernesto is Remolio Jr. And for the post-qualification of the LCB and award, this will be explained by Engineer Rigel Kent Bicoy and Engineer Francis Del G. Ligoto. And for the second agenda, we have the summary of proceedings, including supplemental or bid bulletins to be issued. And this will be discussed by Engineer Dominic Viniala. And for our third agenda, I will have the questions or comments from the bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. And for our last agenda, other matters. So let's now proceed with the Prebid Conference to start for the brief presentation and explanation by the BAC. Engineer Remulyo.
Good morning, everyone. So for the presentation and explanation of the basic contract data, which includes the contract description, ABC, and duration. So for the first project, it's 26RJ0046 REIB 001 Ensure Safe and Reliable National Road System, Asset Preservation Program, Rehabilitation, Reconstruction, Upgrading of Damaged Paved Roads, Secondary Roads, Secure Circumferential Road, Kilometer 0056 plus 002, Kilometer 57 plus 00. Appropriation is 35,819 and ABC of 35,102,620 pesos. Contract duration 148 calendar days. Under major category RCP, roads construction, PCCP. The works consist of concreting of road, including earthwork, sub-base and base course, surface courses, and miscellaneous structure. Physical target, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 2 lanes. So here's the location of the project. For the equipment requirements, one loaded trailer, 25 metric ton capacity, one backhoe with breaker HD820 III 0.80 cubic meter or 1.05 cubic yards, two payloader LX80-2C, 1.5 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yards, two dump truck, all models, 12 cubic yards, one cold milling machine, W100, TCD 2012L062B, milling with 1 meter maximum depth of 300 mm. One motorized road grader G710B, one bulldozer DX175, one vibratory roller SD100DC, 10 metric ton capacity, one water truck pump all makes, 16,000 liters capacity, 4 transit mixers all models, 5 cubic feet per minute capacity, 2 concrete vibrator flexible shaft, type 2-inch head diameter with 5 amperes gasoline drive unit, 1 concrete batch plant, 1 concrete screeder walker truss screen, 1 concrete saw 14-inch blade diameter with 3/4 cutting depth, 1 bar cutter 3-phase, 1 joint sealer machine, 1 cargo or service truck all models with a capacity of 2.5 metric ton, 1 applicator machine CK380, 100 kilogram capacity, 1 kneading machine YD 300 kilogram per cylinder hydraulic double cylinder, 1 survey equipment, and 1 materials testing equipment. For the second project, 26RJ0047, 01 Ensure Safe and Reliable National Road System, Asset Preservation Program, Rehabilitation, Reconstruction, Upgrading of Damaged Paved Roads, Tertiary Roads, Luyang-Poo-Lazi Road, Kilometer 12 plus 480 plus Kilometer 13 plus 000. Appropriation is 17,052,000. ABC of 16,710,960. Calendar days 102. Under major category RCP, Roads Construction PCCP. The work consists of concreting of road, including earthwork, subbase and base course, surface courses, and miscellaneous structures. Physical target, 0.52 kilometer, 1.04 lane kilometer, 2 lanes. So here's the location map of the project. For the equipment requirements, one low bed trailer, 25 metric ton capacity, one payloader LX80-2C, 1.5 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yards, two dump truck all models, 12 cubic yards capacity, one cold milling machine, W100 TCD 2012L062V, milling with 1 meter maximum depth of 300 mm. One motorized road grader G710B, one bulldozer DX175, one vibratory roller SD100DC, 10 metric ton capacity, one water truck pump all mix, 16,000 liters capacity, one transit mixer all models, 5 cubic feet per minute, two concrete vibrator flexible shaft, type 2-inch head with 5 amperes gasoline drive unit, one concrete batch plant, one concrete screeder walker truss screed, concrete saw 14-inch blade diameter with 3/4 cutting depth, one bar cutter 3-phase, one joint sealer machine, one cargo or service truck all models, 2 to 5 metric ton capacity, one applicator machine CK380, 100 kilograms capacity, one kneading machine YD 300 kilogram per cylinder, hydraulic double cylinder, one survey equipment, and one materials testing equipment. For the last project, 26 RJ0048 RE-IB, 001 ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, rehabilitation, reconstruction, upgrading of damaged paved roads, tertiary roads, Luyang-Poo-Lazi Road, kilometer 23 plus 269 to 23 plus 462. Appropriation is 6,272 and ABC of 6,146,560. Contract duration 45 calendar days with major category are CP, Roads Construction PCCP. And it consists of concreting of road including earthwork, subbase and base course, surface courses, and miscellaneous structure. Physical target 0.193 kilometer, 0.386 lane kilometer, 2 lanes. The location map of the project. For the equipment requirements, one low bed trailer, 25 metric ton capacity, two payloader LX80-2C, 1.5 cubic meter per one or 1.95 cubic yards, two dump truck all models, 12 cubic yards, one cold milling machine W100 TCD 2012L062V, milling with 1 meter maximum depth of 300 mm, one motorized road grader G710B, one bulldozer DX175, one vibratory roller SK100DC, 10,000 metric ton 10 metric ton capacity, one water truck or pump all mix, 16,000 liters capacity, 4 transit mixer all models, 5 cubic feet per minute, two concrete vibrator flexible shaft type 2-inch head diameter with 5 amperes gasoline drive unit, one concrete batch plant, one concrete screeder walker truss screed, one concrete saw 14-inch blade diameter with 3/4 cutting depth, one bar cutter 3-phase, one joint sealer machine, one cargo or service truck all models, 2 to 5 metric ton capacity, one applicator machine CK380, 100 kilograms capacity, one kneading machine YD 300 kilogram per cylinder, hydraulic double cylinder, one survey equipment, and one materials testing equipment. So for the schedule of the procurement activities, the dropping of bids will be on June 9 2026 until 9:30 a.m. And the opening of bids will be on June 9, 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m. That's all, Mr. Vice Chair.
Good morning once again. I'm going to discuss about the requirements of bidding documents. Bidders shall submit their bids through their respective duly authorized representatives using the forms specified in the bidding documents in two separate sealed bid envelopes or in appropriate documents and file format for electronic submission as per the relevant guidelines, and which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical component of the bid, including the eligibility requirements under Section 52 of this IRR, and the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. The bidder should note that the procuring entity shall only accept bids from the bidders that have purchased the bidding documents from the office indicated in the invitation to bid, or have downloaded the bidding documents from the websites of DPWH and PhilJeps, subject to the payment of the fee for the bidding documents upon submission of their bids. The bidding documents shall be attached in the technical proposal. A bid securing declaration is an undertaking which states, among others, that the bidder shall enter into contract with the procuring entity and furnish the required performance security within 10 calendar days, as indicated in the bidding documents, from receipt of the notice of award in prescribed format. The DPWH shall post the complete set of bidding documents at its website, www.dpwh.gov.ph, and at PhilJeps, www.philjeps.gov.ph, for the general reference of the public for every contract to be procured starting on the first day of advertisement of the invitation to bid. Any prospective bidder or other interested party may thus view or download the bidding documents from the aforementioned websites. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only elect one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the bidding documents. The original copy of the bid form shall be typewritten or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidders or its duly authorized representatives. Unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes, or in case of electronic bid submission, bidding documents not in compressed archive folders and are not password protected shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked or not properly compressed and password protected as required in the bidding documents shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The box shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid, or improperly compressed or password protected folder, or for its premature opening. The bidder shall submit one original of the Class A and Class B documents. Then the bidder that will be declared as LCRB shall submit 3 copies each of the technical and financial component proposals of its bid before the issuance of notice of award. Good morning once again. Documents to be submitted by the bidders. List of technical documents. 1. Technical component envelope for first bid envelope. Class A documents. Legal documents. A. Valid PhilJeps registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Or B. Registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority, CDA, for cooperative or its equivalent document. C. Mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of respective bidder is located, or the equivalent documents for exclusive economic zones or areas. And D. Tax
clearance per EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR. Technical documents. Statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contract, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. And statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under condition provided under the rules supported by final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in contractor's performance evaluation system, CPs, or a similar performance and monitoring system, in TP, contract agreement, and award. Contractor registration certificate, CRC, and H, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, PCAB license, or special PCAB license includes joint venture agreement, GVA in case of joint ventures, and registration for the type of and cost of the contract to be bid, and original copy of bid security in the prescribed form, amount and validity period. Within the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy and notarized bid securing declaration. And J, technical specification, project requirements, which shall include the following: A, organizational chart for the procurement project to be bid. B, list of contractors, key personnel, includes tax identification number, PIN, or the contract number for project manager, project engineer, materials engineer, and foreman, to be assigned to the contractor to be bid with their biodata with complete qualification and experience data, letter of nominee, key personnel certification of employment, key personnel affidavit of commitment to work on the contract. See list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements, supported with proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor, vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. D. ISO 901-2015 certification for large A, medium B, and medium A contractor. And K. Original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, OSS, in the accordance section of 54.3 of RA 12009 in the standard format per GPBP resolution number 03-2025. And if applicable, original notarized secretary's certificate in case of corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and to do acts of represent the bidder. L. Sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. M. For foreign bidders and claiming eligibility by reason of their country extension or reciprocal rights to Filipinos, a certification from the relevant government office of their country stating the Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement activities for the same item or product. Checklist of financial documents. Financial documents and the prospective bidders audited financial statement showing, among others, and prospective bidders' total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And O, the prospective bidders' computation of the net financial contracting capacity, NFCC, or committed line of credit. And Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement, GVA in accordance of RA number 4566 and its IRR in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all potential joint venture partnerships stating that they will enter into the abide by the provision of the GVA in the event that the bid is successful. And the third one, financial component envelope. Second, bid envelope. Q, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, and R, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities, and S, duly accomplished detailed estimates form including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of the construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in the upcoming with the bid, and T, cash flow by quarters.
Good morning, everyone. Criteria and procedure for eligibility. The bank shall open the first envelopes, technical envelopes in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for eligibility and for the technical requirements as prescribed in the said IRR. After opening the first envelope, the bank shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility check and preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids. The bank shall first determine the eligibility of the prospective bidder in Section 52 of this IRR, and the initial technical proposals shall be evaluated using a pass or fail criterion to determine whether the same meet the minimum technical requirements of the procuring entity. For purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 52.4 of this IRR, the back of a procuring entity shall use the contents of the valid and updated Field GIPS Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership pursuant to the requirements provided in Section 20 of this IRR. The bank shall also require the submission of the following: a statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. B, SLCC and NFCC, to ensure that the prospective bidder is technically and financially capable to undertake the procurement project. The bidder must have completed an SLCC that is similar to the procurement project to be bid, and whose value adjusted to current prices using the PSA consumer price indices must be at least 50% of the ABC to be bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirement may be allowed subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPPB for consideration. Provided further that contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the procurement project to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of their registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the PICA. For infrastructure projects, JV bidders shall submit a JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 or the contractor's license law and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective field GIPS certificates of registration in accordance with section 20.2.9.1 of this IRR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all its ongoing contracts. Electronic eligibility check shall be done by using the data and program in the DPWH Civil Works Application or ICWA. Only the participating contractor who submits the original receipt for payment of the bidding documents for the contract issued by any DPWH field office will be considered by the procuring entity to be undertaken with the electronic eligibility evaluation.
Preliminary examination of bids, Section 59 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. Prior to bid evaluation, the BAC shall open the first bid envelopes in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the eligibility and technical requirements as prescribed in this IRR. For this purpose, the BAC shall check the submitted documents of each bidder against a checklist of required documents to ascertain if they are all present using a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion as stated in the instruction to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required document, it shall be rated pass for that particular requirement. In this regard, bids that fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or pitifully insufficient shall be considered as failed. Otherwise, the BAC shall rate the first bid envelope as passed. Receipt of the scanned copies of the first bid envelope with the required forms prescribed in this IRR, which are for online or electronic bid submission, shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission, subject to the submission of the original copies of the following: bid securing declaration or other forms of bid security, including cash, and B, omnibus sworn statement, and C, sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership. This form shall be submitted by the bidder during the post-qualification stage. The non-submission of these forms within the prescribed period shall render the bid submission as non-compliant and shall result in the post-disqualification of the bidder. Immediately after determining compliance with the requirements in the first bid envelope, the BAC shall open the second bid envelope of each remaining eligible bidder whose technical proposal contained in the first bid envelope was rated pass. The second bid envelope of each compliant bidder shall be opened within the same day, except as provided under Section 58 and Section 62 of this IRR. In case any of the requirements in the second bid envelope of a particular bid is missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds the ABC, the BAC shall rate the bid concerned as failed. Only bids determined to contain all the bid requirements for both components shall be rated pass and immediately considered for bid evaluation and comparison. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required forms such as duly signed bid form, price schedules, or other forms prescribed in this IRR for electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission. That's all.
Good morning. For the detailed evaluation and comparison of bids, Section 61 of the new Government Procurement Act, GPA of RA 12009 and its IRR. Procuring entities shall set a transparent methodology that outlines the data needed and calculation methodology to be used when conducting an LCCA or LCA as may be applicable to ensure comparability and fairness among bidders with due consideration of the significance of the potential environmental impacts, bidders' ability to provide the information requested for bid evaluation visibility of verifying compliance during contract implementation. Members of the BAC
its staff and personnel, Secretariat and TWG, as well as observers, are prohibited from making or accepting any communication with any bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the bank, through its secretariat, may ask the bidder in writing for clarification of its bid. All responses to requests for clarification shall be in writing. The bank shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the following: completeness of the bid. Unless the instructions to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantity shall be considered unresponsive and thus automatically disqualified. However, when no price or a zero or a dash is indicated in a required item in the bid form, the same shall be construed that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And lastly, arithmetical corrections. The bank shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit cost and the detailed estimate and unit cost of the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. An amount in price schedule and in the bid form, the latter shall prevail.
Post qualification of the lowest calculated fee. Section 63 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. The bidder with the LCB infrastructure projects or the HRB, in the case of consulting services, shall undergo post qualification to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. During post-qualification, the bank shall verify and validate the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the eligibility documents supporting the PGF certificate of the registration, platinum membership, and all the other statements made, and the documents submitted by the bidders to the LCD, using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall consider, but shall not be limited to the following. A. Legal requirements. To verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 54 of this IRR. For this purpose, the GPWB shall maintain a portal which contains a consolidated file of all blacklisted suppliers, contractors, and consultants. Letter D. Technical requirements. To verify and validate the bidder's stated compliance with the requirements specified in the bidding document. Letter C. Financial requirements. To verify and validate the bid price proposal of the bidder and whenever applicable. The required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding document. For the bidders and FCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the bank determines that the bidder with the LCD passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the LCRB and recommend to the hope the award of contract to the said bidder at its submitted bid price or its submitted bid price, whichever is lower. If, however, the bank determines that the bidder with the LCB fails the criteria for post-qualification, it shall immediately notify the said bidder in writing its post-disqualification and the ground for it. The post-qualification process shall be completed in not more than 12 calendar days from the determination of the LCB. Next is the award to the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive fee. Section 66 of the new Government Procurement Act is NGPA of RA 12009 SIR. The BAC shall recommend to the hope the award of contract to the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive fee after the post-qualification process has been completed. Within 3 calendar days from the issuance of the resolution recommending award of contract, the BAC shall notify all other bidders in writing of its recommendation. Within a period not exceeding 10 calendar days from the determination and declaration through a resolution by the BAC of the lowest calculated responsive fee, the hope or its duly authorized representative shall approve or disapprove the said recommendation. In case of approval, the hope or its duly authorized representative shall immediately issue the notice of award to the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive fee. Prior to the expiration of the period of bid validity, the procuring entity shall notify the successful bidder in writing that its bid has been accepted through a notice of award duly received by the bidder or its authorized representative personally or by registered mail or electronically, except of which must be confirmed in writing within 2 days by the bidder with the highest rated responsive bid and submitted personally or sent by registered mail or electronically to the procuring entity. Within 10 calendar days from the receipt by the winning bidder, the notice of award, the following conditions should be complied before the contract will be awarded. First, submission of the following documents: valid joint venture if applicable or SEC, certificate of registration of the foreign corporation or the SEC certificate of registration of the foreign consulting firm, and or the authorization of license issued by the appropriate government agency or professional regulatory body, the foreign professional engaging in the practice of regulated provisions and allied provisions which applicable. Posting of the performance security in accordance with ITB Clause 33 and signing of the contract as provided in ITB Clause 33.
For clarification or amendment of bidding documents through bid bulletins. Section 51.5 of the new Government Procurement Act, NGPA of RA 14009 and its IRR, requests for clarifications on a part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The bank shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin duly signed by the bank chairperson to be available to all those who have properly secured the bidding documents at least 7 calendar days before the deadline of submission and receipt of bids. For purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents, bid bulletins may be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative at least 7 calendar days before the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. Any modification to the bidding documents shall be identified as an amendment. Any bid bulletin issued by the BAC shall also be posted in the field chips in any conspicuous place in the premises of the procuring entity and on the website or social media platforms of the procuring entity, if available, or such other channels as may be authorized by the GPPD.
It shall be the responsibility of all those who have properly secured the bidding documents to inquire and secure bid bulletins that may be issued by the bank. However, bidders who have submitted bids before the issuance of the bid bulletin must be informed and allowed to modify or withdraw their bids in accordance with Section 55 of this IR. That's Mr. Vice.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll now proceed, and we'll now open the floor for questions, comments, and clarifications from prospective leaders. Do you have any prospective leaders present? So none. So are there any other matters to be discussed or concerns from the members? So, if there are no more concerns, we thank you everyone for your participation and cooperation. So, there being no other matters to discuss, this Prebid Conference for Batch 11 FY 2026 infrastructure projects is hereby adjourned. So, thank you and have a good day, everyone.